Another opportunity wasted for the Seattle Mariners. The Astros lose again to the Orioles, and you had so many opportunities in this game against the San Francisco Giants to A, win the series, but to B, most importantly, take another game on the Houston Astros to get 3.5 out of the AL West. Unfortunately, you don't do that. And it's super unfortunate. George Kirby just did not have his stuff today, but the Mariners were able to just slowly grind out ABs. They had just 4 hits tonight compared to the Giants' 11. But what were the Mariners able to do? They were able to walk, and they were able to walk a lot. The base paths were constantly full, and in the 7th inning, a huge couple of ABs by Randy Arozarena and by Mitch Haniger, I believe, and that was really the difference maker. Both Randy and Mitch could not scrape across a run, although Randy Arozarena did beat out a ground out to score 1. The Mariners lose 4-3. And it's not good enough. And I do think the season at this point is probably over. I think you had your window. I think today was your window. And I said yesterday, I think you have to sweep the Giants. And I still think that. You know, I was somewhere around the 5 to 10% range of the Mariners making the playoffs. But now you're still 4.5 games out. You have another one against the Giants. The Astros schedule, you know, they're really hard part of the schedule that all the Mariners fans have been kind of hanging their hat on. Oh, well, the Mariners have an easy schedule and the Astros have a hard schedule, so when you really think about it, the Mariners should be just fine. That's not true at all, because you know why? The Mariners can't win freaking ball games consistently. Look, everyone's going to say, oh, wait, the Mariners with Dan Wilson's a different team. Look what they did yesterday. Yesterday, they barely scraped by. They should have lost yesterday, too. So what do you mean the Mariners are doing just fine? They should have lost 8 straight at this point. Guys, this isn't a good baseball team. So I know I came on the show yesterday and I was probably a little bit too positive, but that's because the Mariners gave me some sort of fight, and I did not see that tonight. George Kirby just did not have it, and the Mariners, I saw the door slightly open. There was a crack, and I think it just got slammed shut once more. But the Mariners have to keep battling. The season isn't quite over yet, although, you know, I might be super pessimistic. However, the math still says the Mariners do have a chance. They're 4.5 games back, and you got another one against the Giants. You have to win tomorrow. It is not an option. The season depends on the Mariners beating the Giants tomorrow. You have to keep adding on wins. The Mariners are 500 right now. Do you really think that on August 25th, which would be tomorrow, if the Mariners fall below 500, there is any remote possibility of taking the division? Of course not. There's absolutely no chance, especially with the Astros' hard schedule starting to wind down. I know they still have the Orioles for another one, but then they have the Phillies for 3, the Royals for 3, and that's their hard stretch. Then they're done. So that you have 7 more chances to make up the 4.5 game difference. And the Astros aren't going to go and lose all 7. They're probably going to go 4-3. So realistically, if you want to make an actual difference, let's say the Astros go 4-3, you got to win 6 of your next 7. And now all of a sudden you're only 2.5 games back, and you still have that series against the Astros in late September. That is where you really start to make the difference, is by winning these close ball games. You did it last night, but today against the Giants, you were unable to do so. Let's go over the stats as we always do. George Kirby, I'm going to start with the pitching today because I really do think that's where the game was kind of won and lost. George Kirby, he goes 4 2/3, just 9 hits. Oh, goodness, Drew. 9 hits given up, 3 earned runs, just 3 Ks. George Kirby only walked 1 guy, but 3 strikeouts in 4 2/3, 9 hits. Honestly, the Mariners got lucky that the Giants only scraped across 3 runs against George Kirby. JT Chargois comes in, he deals, and then Austin Voth. Oh, goodness, was this a backbreaker? You're down by a score of 3-2, and then Mike Yastrzemski goes yard, and that was a huge insurance run. It was said in the broadcast. I thought it at the time, and it ends up being the difference maker. The Mariners lose 4-3. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Austin Voth has been super, super good for the Seattle Mariners, and unfortunately, things like that are going to happen. Solo home runs are so, you can get mad at pitchers for giving up solo blasts, but it's kind of like that's bound to happen. These are MLB level hitters. They're going to get some of their own. What you can't get mad about is, throwing consistent walks and giving up consistent pitches down the middle of the plate. That's where you can kind of feel like, oh, okay, that's on the pitcher. But Austin Voth looked pretty good out there. Unfortunately, gives up the one solo shot, and it's the difference. Unfortunate. And then Thornton and Saucedo, they go out there and shove. But it's the Mariners' offense, time and time again, that was really the thing that I was scratching my head at the entire game. Victor Robles, he goes in there, he gets injured, and is replaced by Luke Raley. So cross your fingers that Victor Robles is okay. Because although he has been worse as of the last few weeks, he's still your leadoff hitter. You still just gave him an extension. You hope Victor Robles can continue to produce for the Mariners this season. But he did have to leave the game early, so that's going to be rough if he, is unable to play for the Mariners in 2024. Julio Rodriguez, he has a pretty good day. He goes 1 for 3, but he does bring a couple of walks and an RBI. He had 2 walks as well yesterday, so he's walked 4 times in 2 games. Julio seems to be really seeing the ball well. Still, the hard contact isn't quite there. Today he hit one about 395 feet, couldn't hit it 400 feet, and that would have been a huge turning point in that game. Unfortunate. Justin Turner, he goes 1 for 4. Canzone, he goes hitless. Randy Rosarena, 1 for 5. Jorge Polanco, he goes 0 for 2, but he also adds some value with walking a couple of times. And then Mitch Haniger, goodness, he is a black hole in the lineup sometimes. He goes 0 for 4, and he had a huge chance in the 7th inning and was unable to produce. That is heartbreaking stuff. Dylan Moore is continuing to be pretty bad. He goes 0 for 2, scratches across a walk, and then Josh Rojas pinch hits for him. He goes 0 for. Mitch Garver continues to show why he's one of the worst players in this MLB organization. And then Cal Raleigh, he pinch hits for Mitch Garver, and he can't do anything either. And then the hero of yesterday's ball game, Leo Rivas, he goes 1 for 4. He had a couple opportunities to scrape across a run and was unable to do that. And look, guys, if this game was in May or July, I'd be sitting here saying, look, the Mariners lost a close game against a team that's sitting around 500. What can you do? But unfortunately, we're not in July. We're in August. Not just early August, it's August 24th. The Mariners are still 4.5 games back. It's not going to cut it. These close games need to be won. It is the only way the Mariners can sneak into the playoffs, is if you can win these tight ball games. And there was lots of good things the Mariners did today, but there was a few opportunities the Mariners left on the board, and that's the difference maker. The Giants had 11 base hits. You had 4. You do not expect to win that game. You simply cannot expect to win a ball game when the other team almost triples your hit total. But the Mariners still had opportunities to win this ball game, and they were just unable to produce when the opportunity was arisen. The Mariners had 5+ walks in every... the Mariners drew 5+ walks in an inning for the first time since drawing 5 walks on May 10th, 2017. The walks were there, the hits were not. It's unfortunate because the Mariners need wins. It's desperation time. I still do think the season is all about over. But if the Mariners won today, some serious life would have been breathed into this team. And it's just simply unfortunate. That's all I got for you guys. This is the NW Sportscast. The Mariners lose a heartbreaker 4-3. They fall back to 500, are 4.5 outside of the AL West, and will battle to win the series tomorrow in T-Mobile Park. Thank you, everybody. This is Drew Albaugh saying so long, and as always, go Mariners.